Coming up, we are going to be talking about Avengers Infinity War, arguably the most consequential episode we have had yet in this rewatch. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sacred Rewatch. My name is Ethan Bronson, and this is where we are rewatching every project in the MCU in chronological order, leading up to Avengers Doomsday. Typically, this is the part that I tell you we rewatch everything so you don't have to. But if you haven't seen this movie, you clearly have been living under a rock. Today, we are talking about Avengers Infinity War, like I said, so please make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to. As we're getting ready to talk about Avengers Infinity War, and before I introduce our other co-hosts, I just want to give you a little recap of everything we have watched to date. This is the end of part 4 in our rewatch, and it will probably be a total of 10 parts leading up to Avengers Doomsday. So, let's set the scene. To understand why Infinity War is such a gut punch, we have to go back to the 1940s in Captain America: The First Avenger, where we meet Steve Rogers. He's the heart of the MCU. He takes the serum, fights Hydra, and we see our first glimpse of an Infinity Stone, the Tesseract, also known as the Space Stone. Steve dies, in quotes, saving the world, and Agent Carter carries the torch, eventually forming S.H.I.E.L.D. Then in the 1990s, Captain Marvel introduces Carol Danvers. She absorbs the Tesseract's energy, beats back the Kree, and leaves Nick Fury with a pager and a plan. Fast forward to 2008, we are introduced to Tony Stark himself with both the Iron Man films. Tony Stark stops being a war profiteer and becomes a hero, while the world realizes super people are real. The Incredible Hulk adds a raw power to the mix, and through the one-shots of the Consultant, a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer. We see S.H.I.E.L.D. acting as the glue trying to manage these consultants. Thor brings a cosmic element. Loki, the ultimate sibling rival, the main antagonist, tries to take the throne and fails and falls to the hand of Thanos, directly leading into the Avengers. Loki brings an army to New York City. The team assembles, and they barely win by the skin of their teeth. The Item 47 one-shot reminds us that after the battle, the world was left with alien technology that changed the black market forever. That takes us to our second phase or part. After New York, things get complicated. Thor: The Dark World introduces the Reality Stone, or the Ether, which is eventually handed over to the Collector. Iron Man 3 shows us that Tony Stark is terrified of what's coming from the sky, building dozens of suits out of anxiety. The biggest status quo shift in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Steve Rogers discovers S.H.I.E.L.D. was compromised by Hydra from day one. He burns it all down, becomes a man without a country, and finds his old friend Bucky Barnes, now a brainwashed killer known as the Winter Soldier. While Earth is in chaos, we head to deep space. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 shows us a group of losers finding the Power Stone, stopping Ronan, a part of Thanos' clan, and Ego, the living planet. We see Thanos as a father, and a terrible one to say the least, to Gamora and Nebula back on Earth. The street-level heroes start popping up. Daredevil and Jessica Jones deal with the crime and trauma left in the wake of the Avengers battles. Finally, the Avengers reunite for Age of Ultron. Tony's fears lead him to create Ultron, which results in the destruction of Sokovia and the birth of Vision, who now carries the Mind Stone in his forehead. This takes us to the third part. Now the weight of their actions hits. In Daredevil Season 2 and Luke Cage, we see the world is getting more crowded with enhanced individuals. This leads to Captain America: Civil War. The government demands oversight with the Sokovia Accords. Tony feels guilty for Ultron, signs Steve up, trusting no one after the S.H.I.E.L.D. program collapses. They fight, the Avengers break up, and Steve goes underground for years to come. During this, Ant-Man and Black Widow are on their own missions. Natasha taking down the Red Room, Scott getting caught in the Civil War crossfire, and we also see the Team Thor shorts. Something that's, maybe canon, maybe not. But this is a reminder that Thor and Hulk are missing during the biggest fights in the superhero history. Why? Because Hulk was in space and Thor was searching himself and trying to figure out what to make of this mess. The street heroes Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the Iron Fist team up in the Defenders to save New York City from the Hand, proving that even without the big names, the world is being defended. This takes us to our last part. As we approach Infinity War, the scale gets massive. Doctor Strange introduces the mystic arts and the Time Stone. Black Panther opens the gates of Wakanda, the most technological advanced nation on Earth, just in time for them to become the world's last line of defense. Spider-Man Homecoming shows Peter Parker is trying to live up to Iron Man's legacy, while the Netflix shows of The Punisher, Iron Fist Season 2, and Daredevil Season 3 show the world getting darker and more violent by each day that passes. Finally, the two projects that lead into tonight, Thor Ragnarok and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Thor's lost his father, his mother, his hammer, and his home. He leads the survivors of Asgard into space, only to be intercepted by Thanos' ship. Meanwhile, Scott Lang is exploring what it means to be Ant-Man and exploring the potentials of the quantum realm, a place where time and space don't work the same way that we know. Which brings us to now. The Avengers are broken. The stones are scattered. Thanos has arrived. Let's talk Infinity War. Today, I am joined by our co-host, who's been along with us the entire ride. We started with 8. We're down to 3. Today, we are joined by Wyatt. Do I have to unmute you? There we go. Sorry about that.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? No, you're okay. You're okay.
And our resident philosopher, Brody.
Oh, yeah. I see you've copied my beard. That's my favorite line.
Was that cinematic enough for you guys?
What was that? I think it was. I think that
That
really
was pretty
sold
good.
me.
That was pretty good.
Really, the only problem was how little the Netflix shows were actually needed there. I'm thinking, maybe we should have just skipped those.
I really just was trying to find a way to shoehorn them in so that it seemed like they mattered.
Right.
But, Iron Fist doesn't have the
might-
Power
it may-
Stone.
it might come up.
Shocker.
Hey, we haven't talked about the movie yet. There might be some little details that nobody else knows.
Dude, I was like, going
guys-
into season 3 of Iron Fist, I was like, maybe this is where the Reality Stone's been the whole time?
Right. It was all those shows were in a false reality. It just all turns red behind them. And it's like, oh, the shows were just fake. They just never happened in the MCU.
That's what makes it even funnier, Wyatt, is there's not even a season 3 of Iron Fist. You created this
That is
image in
true.
your head that there was a season 3.
Which I think he talked about in that episode too. I think he just keeps making up seasons of these shows. He just wants more of them.
Well, before we start talking about Infinity War, let's do a little bit of a retrospective here. How do you guys feel that we made it to Avengers Infinity War?
I'm proud, dude. I'm proud. Many people fell on the way to get here. We did it.
I'm proud, but no part of me is shocked that the 3 of us are the 3 who've made it and are going to keep going. Like,
If
you
it's
had
gonna
asked
be
me
anyone,
at the episode 1, if at episode 1 you were like, yeah. If at episode 1 you're like, who was gonna be there during Infinity War, I could have clearly picked the
I thought
3
you
who would
guys
be
had
there
that.
during Infinity War.
Didn't you guys try to pick who was going to be here?
Yeah, and pretty much we were right.
I think I did. I think I said the 3 of us.
That's super funny.
So, now that you've watched Infinity War, how are you guys feeling about the culmination of this all? We talked about how the Netflix shows, haven't really mattered to this point, but how are you guys feeling emotionally? I will say, I don't know if it's because of how much time this has taken us. Maybe I'm more invested in Infinity War rewatching it this time. But I was incredibly emotional watching this movie. I just feel like as silly as it sounds, a lot of our hard work is starting to pay off. I feel incredibly connected to these characters.
Mhm.
And we've watched a lot of bad projects, a lot of mediocre projects. We've watched a lot of good projects. This is a good piece of media. And even though I knew nearly every line that was coming next, I was just stoked the whole time.
It was great.
Now,
I think
although
you mentioned a lot of
Go
bad
ahead.
projects, and we have watched a lot of bad projects. And I think to me, I love the bad. This more than anything has really made me love the bad projects. Just because now, whenever I think of Iron Fist, I'm not going to think of sitting there watching 2 seasons. I'm going to think of this is fun. I love doing this. So, but when it comes to Infinity War, to get to just watch something that's so perfect and such it's just the payoff is so perfect. Everything about it's amazing. We've watched all these movies. We've been waiting, and now you finally get to watch it. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's really, and I think this is the one thing I want to say before we do our score reveal, because I think our score reveals early is important. How fast-paced this movie is, but it doesn't feel fast-paced. Like, it is the fastest 2.5 hours I think I've ever experienced.
True. It gives a lot of time for where it needs it. Like, once it got to the end, I was like, okay, this is the appropriate amount of time that should be left, and they did what they were supposed to at that time that they gave themselves.
Yeah.
It's just really well paced.
Well, let's do our score reveals, and then we can just have an open conversation. I don't think there's really anything to be had about spoiler-free reviews. Nearly any person you've ever talked to has seen this movie before. I took probably the most notes that I've taken in any of these projects, mostly just because there's so many things that stick out about this. I'm going to go first because I think it's pretty powerful, the score that I gave. If you've watched any episode of the Sacred Rewatch, you know I am pretty critical of nearly everything we've watched. I'm not easy to give anything remotely close to a 25 unless it really deserves it. I think the highest score I've ever given anything was like a 21. I gave this project a 24. This is pretty much a perfect piece of media. The only things that I didn't give it a complete perfect score on was sound and score, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I gave it 4.5, and then I also gave rewatchability of 4.5. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about what scores you guys gave it.
You want to go first, Wyatt?
I'll go first. Yeah, I've given a few high scores throughout my time on the Sacred Rewatch, with the SRW for short. But Infinity War, I can confidently say, is the first legitimately true 25 out of 25. Like, there's not a single thing in our categories that I think this movie doesn't execute flawlessly. 5 out of 5 hits the nail on the head for every single one. I genuinely really do believe that.
And that was your score, 25 out of 25?
Yeah, yes, 25 out of 25.
And Ethan's was also 25 out of 25? Or no, his was 23 and a half?
Ethan gave it a 24.
Oh, okay.
It's 24. 24.
Mine's sitting at a 22. Is that bad?
22. No, I mean, I don't think it's bad. Okay, 22 with our scoring system, 22 is high. I mean, a 22 is what? It's a 4 in 3 categories, or 4 in 2 categories, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
That's where I sit with it.
I want to talk before we go too far about the start. I want to talk about the start of this movie before we get too far into the episode. Because I
Ethan,
think
did you
the
see my score
start
with that?
of this movie
No, I did not. Sorry.
Mine was 22.
What'd you give it, what?
I gave it a 25.
Okay, but talk about the beginning of the movie, like you were going on.
I think the beginning of Infinity War is there's not a single thing wrong with it, and it's probably the best opening to any superhero movie, probably period. It starts off with the opening scene of opening up to the already destroyed Asgardian ship is amazing. This having Thanos, your big bad, and his kind of group of cronies already walking through this group of massacred Asgardian warriors and citizens, and already seeing Heimdall the way he is, and seeing Thor already being defeated is such a strong way of setting your villain up in such a way that you don't need to see him destroy those Guardians at all to really get what happened. It's the Hulk's fight scene is great. The Hulk comes over and fights it, and Thanos just he doesn't even outstrength them. It's the beauty of the fight scene between Hulk and Thanos isn't that Thanos is some strong giant. He's just so much technically smarter than Hulk. Hulk's just pure force throw. Thanos is bobbing and weaving and throwing fighting moves and just takes him down so effortlessly. And then a few scenes later, when Thanos, first spoiler for you guys who haven't seen it, kills Loki in the first moment we've seen him on screen after what I can only describe as one of the best redemption movies in superheroes is Thor Ragnarok with what they do with Loki. They make him the most lovable, charismatic, understanded, like no one you leave Thor Ragnarok and you understand all of Loki. You understand why he's the way he is. And you don't feel bad, but you're like, now he's an adult. It's time for him to grow. And for the Russos to kill him in the first scene you see him, writing wise, is amazing because no one does that. And when you're watching the movie, you're waiting. Okay, now Loki's about to stab him in the back, right? Like, okay, where's the illusion? Where's the illusion? And it's just not there. And you're waiting, and it's so good. And it starts this movie off instantly with you. The second that scenes happen, this is not a normal superhero movie. Like, the weight of this movie is immensely felt from those first 4 scenes of Thanos, and it's perfect. Josh Brolin is amazing in this movie.
I love that you said that,
that's my
Wyatt,
spiel on the
because
opening.
your beginning notes are, I feel the same way about nearly everything you said. Like the Marvel title card, hearing the emergency call for the Asgardian rescue vessel, like it gave me chills on so many levels for like what it represented for Thor Ragnarok. Like they were finally going to be able to salvage, their long-standing history of as being Asgard, right? Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. So what do? They kill every Asgardian on that ship, right? And in the first 5 minutes,
good.
Although I've seen this movie before, I can't like go the first 5 minutes without writing down Josh Brolin playing Thanos is such a knockout of the park. Like he is so good. Like it's something about his voice, how he plays the character. And I wrote
It's
down
the perfect casting.
And then it was
and I wrote down so many quotes from this movie.
He's such a powerful actor, which is really one of his strongest things. Like every scene he's in, every role he's in, he's a very weight in what he's saying. When every movie he's in, when he talks, the characters are listening. He's such a strong face, and the fact that they were able to nail it on the head with a motion capture suit is great. He has the perfect voice for it, and it just I don't know. It's hard for an actor to have their same kind of like persona from a motion capture to live action, the way that they really captured just kind of like the powerfulness of a Josh Brolin character.
And I think, credit to Josh Brolin, but also credit to the writers on how they personify Thanos as this this poetic speaking character, that he's this terrible villain. I say terrible in quotes for for what he's going to do. How they have him speak, how they have him talk, how they have him get across his message, like it is just so incredibly well done. Like, and this is what I was going to get to, like the quote, "Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same." Like that is just unbelievable writing.
The trailer line, dude.
And they do an even better job at when Thanos talks about his plan, he talks about it with weight and sorrow, and like he's like seems upset that he has to do this. He's like, he talks about his plan with such disparity in his voice. Like, the world is dying. Like, my planet died. I have to do this, or the world's going to end. You truly do believe where he's coming from. He believes that this is his
He is
duty. Like, this is
fully
his clandestine
convinced that
mission
he has
to save the
yeah.
universe. 100%. And not even in the usual insane bad guy. I'm in the right type of like crazy person. You just genuinely believe it. It's such a genuine portrayal of that type of like, I don't know how to put it the right way, but it's such a genuine feeling from the character, and not in a crazy way. Not like, oh, this person's insane. You truly, truly feel like Thanos believes he needs to do this, which is why this movie feels so good.
I agree.
Another quote that I wrote down, and I think this is like really when I started getting emotional, because, I'm not really going to talk about spoilers post Endgame, but there's such emotional weight to this movie, even to this day, of where the MCU is going. But Loki, I think, it kind of accepts that his time in this universe is coming to an end, and that he truly cannot fake his death this time. He says, "Brother, I assure you the sun will shine on us again." Like, that line just kills me. It is just so heartbreaking, because not only in that moment, he's going to die. After what I just said, he has this redemption arc where he's finally starting to become not a likable character, but a better person.
Redeemable, I would say.
And
they've done a good job at. We've always believed that Thor and Loki, at the end of the day, were always brothers. Like, they never, like, they did, like, Loki did some really bad things, but they did a great job throughout all of their movies, and every time they're on screen, you always could tell that at the end of the day, they do care and love they do care about each other very much, and they do love each other very much. So I think that line right there is just so, like, one line, so well written.
Yeah, and Wyatt, you talked about this, but I also want to talk about it from the end of, like, the Russo brothers is not their first project that they've directed in the MCU. They directed Winter Soldier, and they directed Civil War. So they have a reputation, right? But at the same time, we have to give credit to them for taking such a risk and killing Heimdall and Loki in the first 10 minutes. I looked at the timestamp. It is legitimately in the first 10 minutes that they kill these characters who have been in the MCU for almost 10 years. Thor comes out in 2010. This movie came out in 2018. And like, that is like such a creative risk to take, where it very well could backfire. You don't know how the audience is going to take it until that movie releases. And to do that in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and you realize, oh, everybody's free game. Anybody can die. Yeah. And so to do that, it's a risk, but it pays off so perfectly. But you feel the weight of these characters dying, that it means something. And I think that's what the MCU's been lacking as of lately. I'm not going to have this be a huge conversation of the MCU as a whole, but it does such a good job of those deaths really just show that every second that you see a character in the movie, that their life is on the line and that the universe is on the line.
And definitely being in the theater at the time, thinking about it, Marvel had done so much marketing up into the movie that you truly, truly, really had no idea what was going to happen next. Like, you knew that there was an Avengers movie announced afterwards. Really, per se, think they were going to lose at the end or win at the end, or who was going to live and who was going to die. But you did genuinely think anyone could, like, really anything could happen. Which I feel like nowadays that you kind of have lost that kind of feeling when it comes to movies. And I think Marvel did such a good job at marketing that. The same way they're doing Doomsday now. Like, Doomsday has that feeling of, like, really, anything can happen. Like, really anything is on the table. So I think in those first 5-10 minutes when that happens, and then next thing you know, Hulk shot off to Earth, you're like, wow, we're really, like, everything's up in the air.
Just like the whole beginning of the movie just brought me back to, like, the trailers and stuff when this is coming out. And like, I think it was the first time like superhero, like I would say Civil War probably came close to this, but it's probably the most real a superhero movie has ever like felt. Like Thanos felt like not like a real thing, but how
Mm-hmm.
everyone would talk about him and like spread word about like, well, can he do this? Can he do this? You know what I mean? Like this was like a huge, huge deal. You know what I mean? And just the way that it had like taken over, because his voiceover in the trailers. You know what I mean? If he didn't have that voiceover in the trailers, I don't think we would have that connection to him from the get go. You know what I mean? And because obviously he had been set up like throughout the MCU and stuff. Um, the other thing I was gonna say is like I wish Andreas was here because I went to go see this movie for the first time with Andreas and his brother. You know what I
Really?
mean?
That's so
And
funny.
I was next to
That's hella funny.
Andreas, and I just remember I predicted like most of the movie as it was happening. And one of the first things I said to Andreas was, Loki's gonna die like right off the bat. And he said, no, he's not. And I said, I guarantee you, start of the movie, Loki's gonna die. And when it happened, Andreas just looked over at me like so shocked and confused on if I had seen a leak of the movie or if I had somehow caused it to happen. But I just remember he was so confused by me just being like, I guarantee you,
So funny.
story-wise, Loki is going to die in the beginning. And it was just so funny. I remember there's a couple of the things in the movie that were like that, where I just leaned over and I was like, well, this is going to happen. Right? To a point to where I think he asked me to stop doing it because I was kind of just ruining the movie just because it kept being right. But I do remember that first one was a really funny one because you just looked like
Well, Brody,
I'd caused it to happen.
it's very important then as we get closer to Doomsday, as we're figuring out our seating charts, because I'm assuming we're going to be in the same theater. We're going to make that happen. We're going to be together.
Yes.
I will not be sitting right next to you, Brody. We can see me
We
in the same
have
row,
to.
but I will not be sitting next to you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I'm the psychic philosopher now.
And then I think
Some other like random notes that I
back
had.
to what you two
like
were
the
saying
Avengers
about
title.
how
Go
the way
ahead.
they talk about Thanos. I think this movie does a really good job at the characters seem afraid of Thanos. Like Hulk lands on Earth and he's like, he's coming, Thanos is coming. And from the second Iron Man learns, he even has, a little bit of fear in his voice. He's like, okay, tell me about him. Like this. Everyone's asking, well, can he do this? Is he this? Do this? It's like there's a little bit of fear in every single person's voice that it really does help transfer kind of to the audience that we're supposed to be afraid of this guy. Like when he shows up on screen for the first time to our characters, it's supposed to feel like Darth Vader turning on his lightsaber in the hallway with a bunch of rebels. You're supposed to be like, oh no, this guy's a whole different class than what we deal with.
Totally.
Well, and what I love about this movie compared to the first Avengers movie, when Doctor Strange and Bruce Banner find Tony Stark, and they're telling him, like, hey, we need your help. This is urgent. Let me take you back to the first Avengers movie. Remember when Phil Coulson approached Tony Stark about something that's happening with Loki? All this reservations that he had. Well, I'm not going to help. I'm not going to be a part of a team. I don't want to be a part of that. You go to this movie without even very little hesitation. He's like, I'm going to figure out what's going on. And I need to be a part of the solution that fixes this. Like seeing that character arc and seeing that character development from Tony Stark, like really helps build him into this movie. Because as much as this is really Thanos' movie, because I would classify this being as Thanos is the main character in the movie. Second is Tony Stark, right? And that gets foreshadowed, or not foreshadowed, that gets shown at the end.
100%. It's very much a Tony Stark movie.
When Thanos is having a conversation with Tony Stark, like how he's been looking forward to having this conversation with him. Tony Stark having these visions about what Thanos is eventually going to do, all those years ago. And really being the foil to Thanos, all those years ago in the first Avengers movie, like, although they've never met, although they've never talked before, them meeting up together and having all this character development from Tony Stark is just very poetic.
And then I think the movie does a really good job at, I don't know if I don't know what into it beforehand, writing wise, but the certain like teams and the way they divvy up our group, our cast of heroes, there's so much chemistry in every single one. It's perfect. I don't know how they did it, but Iron Man's
Yeah.
group bounces well off together. Captain America's group bounces great off together. Who would have thought throwing Thor into the Guardians of the Galaxy would be that perfect? Like, it really does just work amazingly. And I think they do a good job at, they get into that very, very fast. Like Hulk, once they're done on the ship, they send Hulk to Earth, and boom, right, he's right then and there. He's with the other guys. He tells Tony about this. Tony talks about going to Cap, and they instantly go. And I think once Tony and Doctor Strange have that bump into each other, they are just kind of, their dynamics, not just in terms of characters and actors and personalities, are so good at butting heads that them getting together that fast is great. You know, the scenes with them in the street with Maw is great. And then as once Tom Holland shows up, the three of them together are really, really good.
You're on mute, Ethan.
Thank you. Sorry, I
You're
was
welcome.
just finished my
Oh,
bowl of
yes, man.
Chipotle. I was getting hungry.
I
recording
got
the second
Chipotle today
episode.
too. That's crazy. We're in sync today,
Dude,
man.
Chipotle sounds so good.
I know. This is the second recording day. We've been in
That's
sync.
how we prepared for Thanos.
I do briefly
Brody,
want to talk
the
about
Iron Spider suit. Come on, what are we doing?
No,
I love it.
No, hold on. We're not done talking about that yet. I want to say one
Okay.
thought, and then we talk about nanotech.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought up Ma and the other children of Thanos, because they're often the forgotten part of the movie. They very well
Corpus
could be.
Glaive.
They very well could be, mustache twirly
Proximus Midnight.
side villains, right? But
Hmm.
because
Are
Thanos
they not?
believes what. No, I have a reason of this. Thanos is he's got so much conviction of what he believes, that the universe must be changed. And that they are going to serve their leader because they also believe the same thing. This must be done. And I think if they weren't good characters, like, this movie wouldn't be as good. But having such minimal characters like them makes these other side fights so much more important. Like, you have the Wanda and Vision fight with Ma and Proxima Midnight,
No.
right? Not
No.
Ma.
Corpus Glaive
Just
and
Proxima-
Proximus Midnight.
Yeah. Like,
Corpus Glaive.
them being able to carry a scene, like, is really important when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because that Captain America showing up wouldn't mean as much if they weren't able to carry it for the first 5 minutes that they were fighting Wanda and Vision. And, like, Captain America showing up, I genuinely think
It is the most.
the best.
It is the most aura thing in the entire world.
It is
If only the
Probably-
music was better.
Are you being serious right now?
That's where I marked the most points down was music, dude. You want me to get into it?
Go.
Wait, what did he say? I keep
Go.
cut out for me.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
So I'm talking about the music here with Captain America's introduction. Like, in
Yeah,
this
it's amazing.
moment,
It's flawless.
it is abundantly clear that Captain America is not an Avenger. Like, the Avengers are split up. And yet it
Mhm.
blasts the Avengers theme when he shows up. Like, the stars all faded out. Like, I
No.
thought we were going to go for something different, dude. And
You're
save the
wrong.
Avengers theme until the end
You're
of the movie.
so
No, it's not the
wrong.
Avengers theme. It's Captain America's theme, and that's why they blast it.
No, okay,
was not
that's
Captain
also a
America's
wrong
theme.
statement.
Trust me. I would know if it's Captain
This is
America's
so
theme.
cool,
That was
though.
not Captain America's theme.
But it's like, he is the Avengers. He's the Avengers. Wherever he goes, that's where the Avengers are.
I
So
know,
right
but
now,
I feel
the
like it's like
Avengers
they should
are
have saved
the
it for
Avengers
the
are
end of the
him,
movie.
and
Because it happens
there
later in
is
the
no
movie
end
too.
of movie to use it though.
Thor shows
There's no
up.
end. No,
Thor
but
shows
that
up and they
shouldn't
blast
have
the
used it at
Avengers
all.
theme, and I'm like,
Is the
dude,
argument?
Thor has a theme. You can go into the Avengers theme after it. Just play a little bit of their actual themes. And they kept the strange
Then
music
they
a
shouldn't
little
have used the
bit,
Avengers
which I
theme at all.
appreciated. But they didn't do the Guardians of the Galaxy theme from what I know. So there's just things like that where I'm like, I wish it did mix, like, and be like, hey, here's all the music from all the movies coming together. I wish it was a
So,
little
Brody,
bit more
I
like
will
that.
agree with you on that part. That is why I did give it half a point off on having a perfect score, because they didn't include the personal themes as much. And I do appreciate when they do
Yeah.
it. But on that specific scene, no, it hits so hard with the Avengers theme. And yes, I agree with you that can you guys still hear me or no?
I have a frozen Ethan.
I do too.
Do you have a frozen Ethan too? You got put in carbonite.
Yes, I do as well.
The Ugnaughts got to fix this. If I had an Infinity Stone for every time we had a technical issue tonight, I'd have a lot of Infinity Stones. A lot of paperweights.
What was he
You know what I'm
saying?
saying?
The music. I agree with you that from like a lot of paperweights, from like a contextual standpoint, yeah, it probably should be like the Captain America theme because he is distant from the Avengers. But dude, it's just so well done. Like he's just so.
But even
just
then,
the
he's not even
train.
really Captain
You're like,
America.
who is that
So they
back
are
there?
kind of pigeonholed
And
on
you're like,
themes.
oh.
You know what I mean? Like that is kind of the tough thing.
Yeah, they
'Cause he
make
is
it.
Nomad,
They make him.
technically.
They make him very obviously not Captain America. Like he's in
But-
the all black
yeah.
with the beard. Like he's very much not Captain America. So I
But
understand.
if it was one or the other, I would choose the Captain America theme because I connect that to his character. And in the rewatch, that theme did stay further than I thought
I
in the
agree.
rewatch than I thought.
I just want to clarify the recording didn't end, right?
No, it's still counting on the top.
Mhm.
Well, thank God.
For me, if it's not for
No,
you,
okay, it is for me. I just want to make sure because when I got kicked out of my Wi-Fi,
It's
it
counting for
said that
me,
the
but I don't
recording
even hear
ended.
Ethan. Oh, I hear him now.
you got snapped.
Still going for us. I don't know.
Okay, good. We're good.
But anyway, we were just saying I would have preferred to play the Captain America theme because
We're
especially going on the
just keep talking
rewatch,
about this one.
the theme like stayed in the rewatch longer than I thought, and I wish it just made it all the way through this movie, just for that introduction scene. And another one was I feel like Gamora could have used the music from the first Guardians movie when she's being saved by Star-Lord and she's in space. I feel like that theme would have been good for Gamora in this movie. Random question.
Is this the one that Rubber Band Man plays when the Guardians show up? I get confused
Yes.
on like
That's in this
which
movie.
Guardians intro song is for which movie. Okay, that's
in
a
this
good
movie.
scene. I really like Rubber Band Man in this one. It works so well.
But what were you going to say about the music, Ethan?
What I was gonna say was I don't think his theme would have worked in that moment. I don't think what they were trying to cater to in that moment.
You think like you mean like sonography, like sound wise?
No, I'm even saying for the introduction of Captain America, what they were trying to cater to in that moment was they were trying to cater to the fan that has just seen the Avengers movies, right? They're not trying to cater to the fan that's watched, up to that point. I think it was like 22 projects, 21 projects up to that point, or movies, I would say. So I understand why they did it, and I think their decision to have the Avengers theme come in at that moment. Obviously, if they were to put the Captain America theme in, I think the scene probably would have had to play out a little bit different. But I don't think them not playing the Captain America theme at all takes away from it. It is such a good scene, and I genuinely think it is the best hero appearance ever. And I think number 2 is probably Thor appearing in Wakanda.
With the same theme.
Thor's in Wakanda is pretty. Yeah, if I say Thor's in Wakanda is really good, which is this same theme, same movie. Number 3 is probably I don't know the Batman and something Batman related. Just have to give that out there.
I don't know. I'll cook up. I'll go to the edit shop and I'll cook it up that scene with the Captain America theme, and then you'll let people know next episode if it worked or not.
Okay.
I will cook that up for you.
Okay, perfect.
I think this movie does a really good job at laying the early groundwork for who was supposed to be your main Avengers as the next, 5, 10, 15 years going forward, especially with Doctor Strange and I think T'Challa. I think from the start of these movies, they make it obvious by pairing them up together. You know, Doctor Strange is very much the Tony Stark, and Black Panther is very much more like Steve Rogers. So I think they do a really interesting job at putting those two together, because I think it's very clear that those were the newest leaders, you know, not the new leaders, but those guys were also the leaders, you know, like Doctor Strange was the leader, Black Panther was the leader. So I think that was really, really cool on Marvel's part. I think that was a good writing point of view to put those two, like those four guys kind of leading the two different charges on the two different fronts.
Uh-huh. No, I would agree. And I mean, it's not really Kevin Feige's fault for why it played out that way. You know, obviously, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But
Yeah, exactly.
I think
That's why I think
got,
like the stuff between Chadwick Boseman and Chris Evans in Wakanda is amazing. Like their characters are really, really good together on screen, especially with the last time they saw each other would have been Civil War, correct?
yeah, when he dropped off Bucky. Right? He dropped off Bucky at the end of Civil War.
Yeah, I believe so.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me or no? Okay. All right. I've got two big questions for you guys that I think the first one's probably going to drive a good conversation. Thoughts on nanotech? I will say this personally, I like it in this context because it's the first time we've seen the real world use nanotech outside of Wakanda and Black Panther. You know, Wakanda is always, you know, at the forefront of technology. And I think it's kind of cool to see that, you know, Tony Stark, the one that's supposed to be the smartest man in the world, his newest tech is something that Wakanda actually already did, you know, 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and the reason I ask thoughts on nanotech at this moment, in this context, do you guys like it? For Iron Man and for Spider-Man?
For this movie, yes.
I don't
it just helps
like
with
it.
a lot of stuff.
Yes, I like it for this movie, but I also kind of don't like that. Yeah, I kind of wish it would have sticked with Wakanda just because seems much more Wakandan. Whereas from Iron Man, you know, I've always gotten Iron Man vibes very much like a muscle car. You know, the Iron Man suit to me shouldn't be the sleek, thin metal. It should be not bulky, but it should be loud and big and kind of like a loud, fancy muscle car, not so much a very fast, quiet, fancy luxury car. But I do think that nanotech is so important for world building. Like it just kind of makes it easier. Like you kind of need Iron Man to have nanotech in this movie, or he just really can't do the things he does. And the same goes for Spider-Man. You know, like they're at a point where your characters who are limited to human abilities need a little more to go against pretty much space gods.
Yeah. I think with where they go with Tony going forward, I feel like he has to have nanotech in this movie. He has to be reaching like an insane level of he's a genius beyond what we've seen him do before, or else what he does going forward doesn't make any sense.
Well, and he's always about what's the next evolution. Can you imagine
he was still using Iron Man 1? He was still freezing when he flies to space, but he does what he does at Endgame.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think it's because, like you said, I think he saw Black Panther using it. You know what I mean? In Civil War, and that really started him thinking about it more. You know what I mean? But I think it was it named off before in the MCU? Was that on Happy Hogan's list of things?
What were you asking, Brady?
Was nanotech mentioned before in the MCU? Like on Happy Hogan's list when they were moving stuff?
I don't think nanotechnology had been said out loud. The technology itself had been shown in Black Panther, but I don't think so.
I didn't know if it had been.
What were you going to ask? What? Speaking of this, I was going to say, speaking of space, though, you know, it's cool to see characters you don't usually typically see in space going to space. Like, you know, Spider-Man, Tony Stark, and Doctor Strange. Like, it's cool. They have a nice little fish out of water vibe when they get into Thanos' ship and land on Titan. Like all the things, I think all the stuff on Titan's really, really everything in this movie is really well done. But it's cool to see Titan. It's cool to see a little bit of Thanos' background.
Mm-hmm. And I think the
And I
reality
think
stone really
the scene where
showing is so cool.
where they first meet the Guardians, and there's the whole yes, yeah, oh yeah, the scene where with the reality stone, all the stuff with the reality stone, I think is done very, 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 very well. Cool.
I do have a problem with when they first bump into the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is another one that I'm gonna need to verify with you guys, because this line never made sense to me. If you guys can make this make sense, this would be amazing for me, because it's always bothered me. I've never, ever understood Peter Quill saying, "I'm not from Earth, I'm from Missouri."
Why don't you get it?
Yeah,
Because he knows he's
he
from
was
Earth.
12.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
He was 12.
But he's mentioned
when he
Earth in the
left.
other movies.
Yeah.
But you know what he also knows, though?
Even though in space they don't call it Earth,
he
knows he's from Earth. He was old enough to know.
He knows he's not
bothers
from
me
Terra.
every time.
Yeah.
I think though, like he's so much older than when he left, and I think he's forgotten
never
bits
thought
and
of that.
pieces.
But like,
I don't
what
really have
part
an
would he
issue
be
with it.
confused about? Because he knows Earth. He says it in Guardians
Yeah,
2. He's like,
but
"This is one of the
I'm with
best
Brody.
singers
That
from
has
just
Earth."
doesn't
so
make
much-
sense contextually.
Like, does he
No.
think that Earth is in the Missouri galaxy? Like, in what context would
Well, I
that
think-
line
I
make
think that-
sense?
I think he knows so much more of the rest of the universe, and I think it's so much different and so much more complex than what Earth is, right? This simple Missouri is on Earth. And I think it's just
I get what he's saying.
he's a very confident
And
individual.
where he's from, there's no such thing as being from a planet. Like, there is no such thing as states. Like, you're just from Xandar. You're from
Yeah.
nowhere. There is no such thing as being from
then he
Missouri, which
would
is on
be
Earth, which is in
from
the Milky
Earth.
Way.
Yes,
Then
to
you
us
would
that
agree.
makes sense. Yeah, I understand what you're
Oh,
saying.
you're right.
but-
He would be. No, but to him,
So
it's
then-
Missouri. His
That's
Earth
what I'm
is Missouri.
saying.
He's like, I'm from Missouri. Like, I'm not from Earth.
I
I'm
don't
from
know,
Missouri.
It always bothers me. Everything else, I'm
Missouri's
like,
in Earth.
okay, I
And
think
I'm
they're
not
doing
I'm
pretty
not
good
from
with
the
Peter
United
Quill.
States. I'm from California.
Everything
Well,
else,
and
I'm like, they're doing pretty good with the Guardians. But that line specifically, every time I watch it, I'm like, it's going good. The wise Gamora, all that's perfect. And he goes, like, what master do you serve?
Wait a
That
minute.
stuff's
Actually,
hilarious.
another counter argument. His next line is, I don't know Jesus. So you're telling me he has more competent recollection on the structural base of Catholicism than he does Earth and the United States of America?
That's what I'm saying. That stuff's good. It's this one line that bothers me
That
every
line's
time,
so-
and it's like, you
That
pushed
line
it
is
too
so
far.
good.
It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
Should you serve, I don't
but
know,
it just bothers
Jesus?
me. I just had to throw that out there because that is my.
I've never noticed that.
I think even
never, like,
more
really
than
thought
the
of it like
themes,
that.
that line bothers me because I can't like just go, "Oh, the music's good."
That's funny. There's no background music.
I think he's just forgotten some things. He's learned much more since he's left Earth than when he was on Earth. And I think just more time. He's spent more time in space than he has on Earth, or in Missouri, as one would say.
I think that does make sense for some of the stuff. Like when he says, "Don't say plucky, we don't know what that means." Like I think that one he kind of doesn't understand what it means, but
That's
mainly
funny.
everyone around him doesn't. Like Drax
That's
wouldn't know
really
what that
funny.
means and stuff. Like that
Yeah.
stuff, I think that stuff is okay,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't. That's the
and that's
Christmas
not
special. I
necessarily a
can't
word he'd
reference
be
that.
super familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just when it comes to like what planet and all that, I don't know.
Brody, this is a good opportunity to talk about your Star-Lord Thanos glove thing
Oh, what is my thing?
that you mentioned.
Oh,
No,
nothing.
you
I just
mentioned it during
I think
the
I think it's
controversial
completely in
opinion
character.
thing.
I think it's
I think so,
completely
too,
in
100%.
You're
character.
not with the rest of
I
the
think it's
community.
actually a great.
Well, I understand people hating him for doing it, but I just think it's like if you watch Guardians 2 and then go into this and he has the same reaction, like
Mhm.
it's a continuity with the character that he
A
never
character. think-
grows past Guardians 2. He's never like, oh, if I'm
Exactly.
confronted with that same thing,
I
I'm
was
going to
exactly what
be
I
a
was
better
gonna say.
person about that. It's like, no, like when he gets hurt, that's how he's going to deal with it. You know what I mean? And
Exactly. I
that's
was
how
gonna
he's
mention it's
been
a
ever since the
character
first
who's
movie when he
kind
runs
of his
away
whole
from it.
shtick is that he doesn't really morally grow too much. Like Star Wars never gonna really
Yes.
mature too much.
Yes. If he can fight it in that way, he will. Like, obviously, with the first thing with his mom, he doesn't. He just walks away from it or runs away from it.
Uh,
But when it comes to things like Guardians 2, it's like if he can fight that thing, he's going to. Like, I don't know what you expect him to do. I understand it does suck, and I think it's really cool to have that moment where the glove is off of Thanos and he grabs like the edge of it and pulls it back from Peter.
in theaters, that scene
It's
was
insane.
it's such a cool moment in theaters for the first time.
Because for a
Because again,
second,
just like I
you
said,
forget you have a
this
whole
whole
other
movie you're
movie.
kind of on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, or even then you're like, well, I don't know. I have no idea what the next movie could be. It could be anything.
Right. Maybe the next
So
movie is him getting the gauntlet
that scene
back.
where he like the glove's like pretty off. It's so good.
But yeah. So I just think that
And then, like
the
I
character
said,
consistency is good.
they do is again, Thanos is so powerful in this movie that no one really comes close to actually like he doesn't fight. Like they attack him and he deflects while walking to his next destination. That like
Yeah.
they got the jump on him out of nowhere and it caught him off guard. But the second he gets that glove on, he takes him out 1-1-1-1-1. Progressively more powerful characters. You know, like it gets to the fight where he goes against Doctor Strange, and you're like, okay, this is a sorcerer supreme, and he just goes band for band, spell, and then just gets rid of Doctor Strange like that.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Tony, and the fight with Tony lasts longer. But from the second the fight starts, you understand that Thanos is playing with his food. Like he could stomp Tony to the ground right now, but he wants to talk to him. He needs the ego of Thanos needs to talk to Tony Stark and tell him that I've beaten you, pretty much. Not I've beaten you, but like you think you're smart, then I'm 10 times smarter than you could ever be.
Exactly. It's super fun, dude.
And
Another
the ability
question-
to balance two groups of people fighting one main villain simultaneously throughout an hour, a 2.5 hour movie, and each scene still have like weight and meaning. Like the fact that you have a scene where on Earth, Steve Rogers is talking about Wakanda to do about Thanos, and Thanos, there's a scene going on up in space where Iron Man's talking about what to do about Thanos, and both scenes have the same amount of power and weight because you know
And
the villain's going to show up to both of them with
yeah,
just
neither
as much
groups know that
kind of like intensity.
the other
you
fight
know?
is happening.
Yeah, they keep going, where'd he go?
And you
They
know,
don't know what he's doing.
and like it's so well written because there's not a doubt in your mind at the end of the movie, you know that if they were all together, they win this movie. Like if they were all together, they stop him in Wakanda. Not easily,
Exactly.
but they definitely stop him in Wakanda. It's just like it's such a good job of every little movie has mattered up until this spot. Like why aren't they all together? Because Steve and Tony got in a fight 5 movies ago, which we saw the groundwork get laid for that fight 6 movies ago, which was 2012. Like it's just it's such a feat to really accomplish that it's just it's impressive. It's impressive.
Another question that I wanted to ask you guys, and I don't think it's really talked about in the MCU community about this being an issue, but I'm kind of surprised it's not brought up because it is kind of odd, at least to me. I understand the canon reason behind it, but how do you guys feel about we actually see Paul Bettany, the human version of Vision? You know, it's only for a little bit, but
I thought it was good.
I think it's cool. I like it. It's a nice little touch. It's one of those things where it says a lot more than it says a lot more than it says. Like seeing Paul Bettany's vision, all it really does is it tells you that like him and Wanda are trying to have a normal life. Like they're trying to just go live in wherever they are in Europe. I don't know if we ever get told, but to me, just seeing that shows that they are just trying to go live, and to them, they would like to just be left alone and not be bothered ever again. And unfortunately, for the two of them, that just can't ever be a reality. So I think that's a nice little. It's just that's to me all that scene shows, and I think it's a great little scene.
I feel like it's just good for Paul Bettany too. It's like, okay, you were the voice of this character, then you were the character in hours of makeup.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just let you show some face, and then people know who you are as an actor behind all this and all that.
And he's a great actor. He does a really, really good
Star Wars
movie.
story.
in terms of the character of Vision. You know, like, huh?
I said Solo. He's great in Solo.
Oh, he's great. He's cool in Solo. I forgot he's
So
even in
sick.
that. The
Oh, yeah.
character of Vision is they do a good job at. Like I said, this the whole Vision throughout the whole movie is like the way Thanos is talking about having to destroy half the planet. Vision's like, you will have to kill me. Like, guys, kill me. Like, you have. It's the only way. Like, it sucks and no one wants to do it. But if he needs this stone to end the world, I need to die. And it's just it's very presented very well for the character of Vision. You know, from the second he's shown up in Age of Ultron, that's how he was. And just Paul Bettany does a great job at that of kind of having a certain type of warmthness to it. Like, he does a great job at Vision is not afraid. He's not afraid to die. He's not afraid to sacrifice himself. He just kind of thinks it's what needs to be done for the greater good. And I think, again, it's just the little things like that that go back to just having an actor who knows the character and I just think is casted well. Marvel has always been a good job at that. They know who to cast for their roles, especially back then.
Totally.
Like, they didn't have a single miss up until like pre I don't know, pre whatever, but like up until Endgame and Infinity War, every single person I feel like was genuinely written to play that, or sorry, made to play that role.
I agree. There was also, I don't know if you guys caught this, there was a Wilhelm scream, or like half of one. Did you catch that?
Where at?
It's when Ma's flying out into space after that little aliens move. Like for a split second as he's flying into space.
I do vaguely.
It's like the Wilhelm
yes.
scream for like a split second. And I had to play it back to just double check. But I thought that was funny. Thought that was good. Good cinema trope.
I think this is not a breakout movie for Peter Parker's Tom Holland because people already really liked him. But I think this movie he does a great job in it in terms
He's
of
got
like
the wateriest eyes.
recognized. Does he really? I never really noticed that.
At the end of it, dude.
His eyes watering a lot of the movie.
Or it's just every time I'm watching it, my eyes are watering.
Oh,
so it just makes it seem like
I thought you meant Tom Holland's eyes are watery throughout the whole movie. I was like, I didn't notice that.
Well, like at the end of the movie,
the whole
like it's
I don't
either
feel so
his
good,
or mine
Mr.
are.
Stark. That was like that was a meme for years. I remember everyone would joke about that. But like I said, it's one of those things where you're watching this whole movie and you're like, wow, Peter Parker's really he's really growing up. Like, he's really coming around to Spider-Man. Like, this kid, he has such a bright future ahead of him. And then what did he do? He dies. He dies at the end.
But that scene's so good because I don't know.
So
there's a few
good.
moments in the MCU where Peter Parker has the with great power comes great responsibility. Like, there's a few times it happens. It does happen quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, it's just a look on his face. When Tony walks up to him and he goes and he does like, "You're an Avenger now," does the night thing or whatever. Peter smiles and then he like gets serious for a second. Like, that is that moment of like, oh sweet, I'm on the Avengers. And he's like, okay, but I gotta be responsible now. I gotta like really step up. So I think this is probably one of my favorite examples of with great power comes great responsibility. Because it's just a 3-second
That's one of the things that I always talked about with those Tom Holland Spider-Mans is, as I remember, like, I would talk about how, like, I'd be like, yeah, we don't need to see the whole not Big Ben, the whole Uncle Ben thing again. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man very much presents as if he's already had the great power comes great responsibility talk.
Yeah.
You can tell in his whole, like, in the first scene when he's doing when he's like, I'm Spider-Man, and he lifts the building off him. Like, you can tell that this Peter Parker, he knows the morals of it all. Like, he knows how to be Spider-Man. And this movie is again, like, he doesn't hesitate when he's to hide on the plane and go into space.
That's why the end of it's so good. Because he seems like he's like stepping up. He's being so capable. And the end, when he's sitting there in Stark's arms, like, you're like, he is just a kid. Like, instantly. Like, you're just, you instantly fall back into like, this isn't fair. This is terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I think without that, the other people getting dusted is emotional because we know the characters. But his is the one that sells the entire thing. If it wasn't him in Stark's
100%.
arms, the snap would have been crazy, but the emotional weight of it is literally held by Tom Holland in that moment. You know what I mean? And obviously
100%.
RDJ, when you see him like fully like fall and let go because there's nothing else weighing his hands anymore. I
Because when you're
think
like
that
thinking about,
scene's
I
crazy.
think like because like Bucky isn't really by Steve when they get dusted, and even then it's just
Steve
it's
just looks up
there's a
from it.
lot more going, and there's so much more going on in Wakanda at the time. Like I was like
True.
the Vision and Wanda scene, the Vision and Wanda scene where Wanda has to kill him it's a very powerful scene. It is a very good scene, and then Thanos just walks over and then undoes time and just
Yeah.
kills him again and right in front of her. Great it is a really good scene, but there's just so much has happened within those last 5
Yeah.
minutes. Like Thanos just showed up, Thor's there, the aim for the chest or should aim
Mhm.
for the head. Like there's so much that's just happened, explosion, loud flash, that there isn't that raw kind of emotion that
Yeah.
when it cuts to Titan, which has already been, I don't really know time wise, an hour and a half of them just kind of sitting there coping with what's going to happen. Pretty much everyone besides.
Yeah. I got a frozen Wyatt. And then there was me. I don't even know if I hope you guys can still hear me. We've been having a lot of technical difficulties, so currently I'm the only one really present on the podcast right now. And it's telling me that I'm still here. So I hope you can still hear me. I don't know if I keep talking because I could talk to you about Infinity War, but I'm supposed to be talking to these guys. So I'll be editing this too, so I hope this all works out. But uh, I'll cut to whenever these guys get back, probably. Is this a Wyatt?
Dude, that face is my face when I noticed that my Ethernet cord had got unplugged. That's the last 2 seconds of Wi-Fi I had as I saw it. I was like, no. I looked down, I was like, I heard something get unplugged. I was like, what the? I was like, oh. That's funny. What was I saying? Yeah, so there's so much going
I hope
on.
all these technical issues get sorted.
I hope they're in the video. There's so much going on Earth that it's really hard to like be in the emotions, and then it cuts to Titan, and it's
Mhm.
nothing but raw emotion, and it's such a good scene because I think it's also does a thing that I think that Infinity War does really good, which is we have an actor who could, Tom Holland can act. He's an actor. He's really good, and so is Robert Downey Jr. It's like we have
So
two
good
very
in
very
that.
talented actors. Let's give them a scene and just go out there and act. There's a lot of moments like that in this compared to I think other MCU movies, which for whatever reason, writing wise,
And
actor
the
wise,
CGI environment too.
and the CGI environment as well.
They put the light like right behind them. They put the light right behind them. Like right when RDJ's face is like moving up a little bit and the camera's moving, the light peeks out from behind them.
Like you
That
have that
stuff's just
scene,
so good, man.
like the Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen scene. Like those are two people who are experienced, well versed actors. Let's give them a powerful scene and just go out there and go do it, and they do it well. It's everyone does. Like
And cut the music.
like when Steve Rogers
That final
or no,
moment
that's
where
a
they
different
cut the
movie
music
actually.
is so good.
And then
Or the sound, I
his
guess.
black and
Not
white
the
his
music,
black
but they
and
cut
white
the sound.
body. Hulk. We haven't talked about
Right,
Hulk.
and then
We haven't mentioned Hulk not being Hulk at all throughout the entire movie.
this is the worst Hulk movie.
It's the worst. It's not.
This is the worst Hulk movie.
And they
I do
do
like Mark Ruffalo
they
as
give you
the
a
messenger.
trailer with the Hulk in it.
I
That's
think
even the
him being
funniest
the
part.
messenger and being is good.
Yeah, I
Right?
think so too. But I would have
Yeah,
liked, like I said, I would have liked Hulk to bust out of the Hulkbuster at the end or something. Just especially knowing
that would have been so
they don't. This is I don't know. Ethan's not here, so I can say what I want. Knowing what's going to happen to Hulk in terms of that kind of like primal raging Hulk, knowing that Ragnarok was the last time we were going to see it, they don't really make that evident at all. So it would have been nice to have a moment in Infinity War where he busts out of the Hulkbuster suit as the Hulk and goes
This should have been
crazy.
at the end.
Because dude,
like
there
you're
was like
saying.
theories.
Last resort
Yeah,
should have
there's that
jumped
scene in
out
the
there and fought Thanos.
Or like when I think there's a scene in the end where he's in the Hulkbuster and it's one of those like, stereotypical everyone's getting overwhelmed scenes before Hulk shows up or before Thor shows up. There's like 10 of those like dog things crawling all over him. He's like stuck on the ground. Like that could have been a scene where he just hulks out.
Yeah, and he's like, there's too many of them.
Yeah. And then Thor shows up and
Yeah,
saves the
I
day.
agree.
Thor and Rocket.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait till Ethan's back, but I think I'm just gonna say it. You know what this is? You know what this movie is?
What is it?
It's Marvel Rivals the movie, man.
It is Marvel
It's
Rivals
just
the
Marvel
movie. They're
Rivals the
pushing
movie.
the objective. Thor just ulted at the end right there.
That's what this is. They just keep getting the Wakanda map, dude. They keep getting the Wakanda map. Thanos is somehow
Do you remember
there.
when Thanos had the Fortnite? Thanos was in Fortnite when this movie came out.
I do. I was there.
That was
I
the
was
other day.
there,
We
man.
were playing
That stuff
Fortnite,
is
and we're
so
like, "What was
sick.
the first Fortnite collab?" And then we're like, "Dude, I'm pretty sure it was Thanos. It was when Infinity War was coming out. Thanos was in Fortnite, and that
Yeah,
was
I think maybe there might
crazy."
have been dances before that, but the first real one was that, and you could have like the shield and everything. I think Stormbreaker was there too. Like they had everything.
Infinity War was
That's
the
another
first,
thing.
like,
Like it was a huge thing, dude.
it was crazy. People nowadays Fortnite collabs happen every other week. You have Harry Potter or Fortnite. Back then, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, they got a superhero thing and a video game that are unrelated.
But the video game's free, so everybody checked it out for the Marvel stuff. Because again, Marvel video games are
Great
like either
marketing on
single
both parts right
player or
there.
like mobile.
And then you got new Master
Remarkable,
69
dude.
showing up in Endgame, like Marvel.
That part I don't love that much.
I don't like that part either.
But we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
It truly is.
I don't know, man.
I mean, there's no other movie out there where you leave the theater with your heroes losing, you know, and it's then you leave the theater and your next movie was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. That's what we couldn't really talk about it in the Ant-Man and the Wasp episode. The last thing you
That
had
one was
seen
fun.
before Ant-Man and the Wasp was every hero you knew getting snapped away. So then you're sitting there in Ant-Man and the Wasp and you're like,
Right.
this is crazy.
It's
I know
like,
what's going
I'm
on.
a
Like,
little
I
dude.
know what's happening
Now
right
I'm a
now.
big dude.
Like, yeah, Scott, they could really use you in
Yeah.
Wakanda right now, buddy. Let's go get over there or something.
Doing magic. He's practicing
And I won't
magic,
talk
man.
about it too much for
Yeah, I don't
spoilers,
know.
but leaving Hawkeye out of Infinity War, amazing.
True. Well, the
'Cause of
end of
what
the
it
movie, who they pick off is so fascinating. Because it's everybody that you would need to win this fight.
Mhm.
Like everyone that you would think, it's like, okay, Scarlet Witch is gone, Vision is gone. You know what I mean?
And it's also
Like
it's
all
everyone
these
who
like strange. It's
everyone
crazy.
it's everyone who we just met, which in my opinion is a little bit of a cool thing.
True.
It's a cool thing and a bad thing because at the end of once you see not so much Spider-Man because all the Sony stuff, but once you see Black Panther get snapped away, and mainly he's the only one who got snapped away, where I'm like, they're probably gonna come. They have to come back. I know Black Panther's not done. He's one of the biggest guys right now at top of the movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
That'd be crazy.
it very much was maybe they don't all come back. Because it's just it was
like, how were they gonna come back?
It truly was crazy. The ending. It's like seeing these people die.
But again, the emotional parts sell it. And the thing about the Peter Parker moment is like they pretty much make you think that it's done. They show everybody else disappearing and RDJ's like I don't know, he says something to Peter Quill. I forget what it is.
Yeah, he says like we lost or
stay level headed or something. No, he
you're
says
right.
like stay something.
Not
you know
stay
what I mean?
frosty, but he's like
stay frosty.
Because Peter's like starting to freak out. He's like, hey, like calm down, like stay cool, man, you're good. And then he gets up, and then he fades away.
He says something like that, and then he fades, and then RDJ looks at Strange and he goes, why'd you do that, or why'd you do this, or whatever, right? And Strange goes, this is the only way. And then Strange disappears, and you're like, okay, he was the last one. He had a last line, and then Peter Parker has his,
and then you're like,
okay,
whole thing. All right, David, this is where it's gonna.
I'm just so glad that worked so well.
And you're like,
because if it didn't, I would have no reason to rewatch this movie.
And there's like
I would just be like,
You're thinking, okay,
I would say it's that scene and it's Thanos' vision thing with young Gamora at the end.
the
I would
vision
say
of young
those
Gamora is really
two.
good at the end.
Maybe you could count the Porsche scene, but I think the vision scene is even better. Even though I don't know how that works and when that's happening. I think it's just like a space in his mind where that's happening.
And another thing is,
But
then you're sitting
I
there
think those
thinking,
two
you're like,
moments
okay,
really hold up.
it makes sense for Tony and Peter to be the last two alone together in space. Like, okay, we're gonna see not a buddy cop because we know this the fun and games is kind of over, but you're gonna be like, okay, it makes sense to see Tony and Peter have to get back together. They're the team. It's leader and his apprentice, and then Peter starts stumbling and drawing it out. Yeah, I get. There's people like, why is his drawn out, but everyone else died so fast? I don't care. Drawing it out like that's perfect.
It's because he has spider senses.
Yes, like
that one makes sense. He senses that he's gonna disappear.
The scent and like
it's so easy.
The line and like the fact that he's the only one who actually shows any sort of like fear or sort of.
He's the only one. He got snapped. He got Noah snapped.
So what happened earlier?
Hey, technical difficulties beyond our belief and the quantum mania.
Do you not think this is salvageable, or do you do?
I mean, I hope it is. I just never know with Riverside. Riverside, you always find out after. That's the fun part.
Yeah. Well,
but we were just talking about Peter's emotional death scene and how it saves this movie. Not saves this movie, but makes it really worth rewatching. And how well crafted that scene is. And that's pretty much what we're talking about. We're saying Hulk should have been better.
Hulk should have what?
Should have been present at all. Towards the end of the movie, he should have broken out of the Hulkbuster or something.
Well, do you guys talk about that deleted scene?
No. We did not talk about
do you know what I'm talking about?
I vaguely remember it. Very vaguely.
Basically cut out this, 5 to 10 minute scene where Bruce and Hulk are having this conversation basically between themselves when he's kind of like on his own in the Hulkbuster suit, kind of explaining why he's not changing into the Hulk. And it's kind of this like sad reasoning of why he never shows up, and also gives reason, in Endgame. I just feel like that would have been really important if we got to see it.
Hey, it wouldn't be an Avengers movie if they didn't cut out everything that developed Hulk's character.
That's so true.
Happened with every movie, dude.
He's right.
Every movie, they're just like
the second one, and this one.
It's just what happens, man.
So let's talk about the most important character in this movie. Ned. Who do you think I'm talking about? No.
What? He literally causes a distraction so Spider-Man can get to the scene. Ned is the most pivotal character, right next to Stan Lee being the bus driver, because he gets Peter Parker there.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another Peter.
I don't know who you're about to mention. I don't know.
Peter? Yep, you're right.
Oh, Dinklage.
I actually don't remember what his character's name is. I just think Peter Dinklage actually had a great performance.
Sure.
I think he's actually quite an underrated actor, in my opinion. I think a lot of people think he's kind of typecasted, but he's actually not for this role. They made him a giant, which I think is cool.
True. That's pretty sick.
What's he typecasted as, Ethan?
Game of Thrones.
No,
I think he's a great actor. I think he's an amazing actor.
Let's just avoid what I'm going to call him.
I think he has all sorts of range. Legit all sorts of range.
You're putting me in a tough spot here. We're all about inclusion on this podcast. We're all about equality.
Hey, nobody brought that.
And we'll leave it at that.
Nobody brought that the question.
On the SRW.
I was gone for 15 minutes. This is not time for me to get back at me because I was gone. Peter Dinklage, great performance. Let's move on.
Well, that whole scene with the sun and stuff, I think it really brought me back into like Thor's cool. Like I like Thor Ragnarok, but it's like this is the stuff that I want from Thor. Like you mean like Asgard was supposed to protect us. like not just serious, but there's just this world of like stuff is like I understand. I don't have a problem with bright colors and stuff. I even would argue that Dark World did have a lot of bright colors with its contrast when it came to Asgard and the colors of the costumes.
Mm-hmm.
But so not necessarily dark, but just the world building. Like I do like that he's like, oh, you were supposed to protect us, and then he's like, oh, Asgard's gone. You know what I mean? Like that stuff's fun. For some reason, I don't know why they did the whole Thor doesn't keep the eye patch. I thought the eye patch was sick.
Thor.
What were you going to say?
I thought the eye patch was really cool.
I
was gonna say Thor very obviously has the a different writer.
Yeah.
Like, he's the most obvious guy in terms of I had a writer in my movie before this, and now I have a much different writer in this movie. But it's also not it's just how it is. But I think to me the MCU really did drop the ball on Thor being the sort of what they would tell us Captain Marvel was doing off screen is what I would have wanted to see more of Thor actually doing. Going to planets in different realms and stuff like that, and being a protector. Not just saying he's the protector of Midgard.
I agree.
So I wanted to look something up because I knew that the main scenes that the Guardians were in, that the Russo brothers consulted James Gunn.
James Gunn was an executive producer.
And I know that they also consulted Ryan Coogler.
James.
Oh, yeah.
But I was curious on if they consulted Taika Waititi, because I do agree it doesn't seem like Taika Waititi had the Cougs a say, really, because it doesn't.
I feel like he was told where to end his movie.
I'm not gonna say that.
And I feel like it didn't go the other way. And I think we see that going forward pretty.
He was probably. I think he was told to stay off set and don't tell me how to write my movie at all.
They said, hey, Korg is not beating Thanos. Hey there, Thanos.
He's like,
hey there, Thanos, I'm made of rocks.
Uncle. Yeah.
And I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So you can't take the stones. Can you imagine? He just walks in there and kicks him. He's like, I've been training in a gladiatorial arena.
He's looking for Infinity Stone. I'm a stone.
Thanos can't take over. The revolution begins again. And he just flies his ship into Thanos and the movie ends. They're like, thank you, Korg.
What's his friend's name?
And he has like a baby Groot version of him. It's just like one pebble with Korg's face on it. And he's just got a really high-pitched voice. And then that's what's selling all the toys at Disneyland. Hi there, I'm Korg the Pebble.
So you're just redoing the Baby Groot storyline, but
exactly.
It's Korg.
That is exactly what I'm doing. That's how this movie should have played out.
So what I'm reading right now is it seems like James Gunn and
it starts in Avengers Infinity War.
James Gunn and Ryan Coogler and maybe even Peyton Reed were invited on set to collaborate on this movie, but the Russo brothers visited the Ragnarok set to talk to Taika Waititi and get his thoughts before they started shooting Infinity War. So, you don't really get the hands-on.
Oh, that's so funny.
Right.
That is so funny.
And I think that's very evident watching the movie.
They just said, you are not coming to set of our movie.
That's crazy.
You don't want screaming goats when Thanos is giving his monologue about how destined he is to save the universe?
Later down the line.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
I hate that guy. He's gonna ruin Star Wars.
Did you say he's never been in Star Wars?
Yeah.
He did do Star Wars. He's just not probably doing his trilogy.
What?
He's probably not doing his...
I said he's going to ruin Star Wars.
Well, I don't think the plans for his trilogy are going through anymore, if that helps anyone.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anymore.
But he was in The Mandalorian. He might be in the Mandalorian movie.
You don't like Infinity
that does help a lot,
Cones?
Actually.
That's a funny one.
I hate that one with all my soul. When we get to the next Thor movie, I am going to be on insane levels of crashing out.
We'll have to talk about it later or off air.
when we get to Thor, dude, the next Thor movie, it's gonna be
All right.
insane. I will be out for
Let's
blood.
do this. I want to continue this conversation. Another episode, maybe have a different twist on Infinity War.
So
We'll for sure do one extra episode before we do Endgame. So I'm gonna give you 3 very little context notes that I took for the rest of Infinity War, kind of just to jog your brain and think about other things we could think about or talk about in the next episode. So I'm gonna give you 3 things. One being Grimace Shake. Any clues? Any clues?
Purple guy. Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's something Peter Quill said. He called Thanos Grimace.
Yeah, there's a big purple guy. Or so our main villain is huge.
I just thought that was funny. It just kind of ties into our like whole Missouri is not Earth, you know. Like how does he know what a Grimace Shake is, but not, you know?
Yeah, he knows who Grimace is.
I'm gonna make a diagram of the stuff that Peter does know from Earth and the stuff he doesn't. He knows
Kevin
every one of the
Bacon.
music charts.
He
He knows everything about Footloose.
It's like things he doesn't know. Oxygen,
Right?
the name Earth, water.
How to give
things
someone
he
the
does know.
bird.
Grimace,
Yeah,
Christianity.
he knows how to give the bird.
Well,
And
he's
he knows who
doing a
Grimace is,
backflip.
but he doesn't know that Missouri is on Earth.
I hate that line
And he knows
so
who
much.
Jesus is. Another quote that I wrote down: engage all defenses, and someone
So
get this
funny.
man a shield. So good.
Get this man
So
a
good.
true, as that's turned into.
And my last note that I
great
wrote
line.
down:
Great
Porch.
line.
The song Porch.
Greatest on the soundtrack.
Such a good song, and it's such an immaculate way to go out. Like him just overlooking the sunset, porch playing, and realize. And this is like really the first time people had felt like, wow, the movie is ending. The villain won, you know?
Dude,
Just such a great way to go out.
I'm going to throw this out there. If you haven't experienced this, play Minecraft, right? Play Minecraft. Do whatever you got to do in Minecraft. Build whatever you got to build. And at the very end of it, watch the sunset in Minecraft while listening to the Porch song.
Ah, man.
That is a legendary experience. And there's another song when we end up getting to one of the shows down the line. That same thing is top-notch experience in life that you got to do.
If you really
Or
want
watch
to
a
get
real
it right,
sunset. You can watch a real sunset if you want to.
if you really want to, you can go on hardcore Minecraft. Let all your food deplete, so then you're just slowly dying. You get to like the last heart.
Kill half the
Play
animals.
Porch. You have like such a great world that you built. You turn on Porch.
Kill half the
and you're like,
villagers.
mic drop.
right?
All right. Do you guys have any more no context notes that you have before we kind of leave this conversation for our next recording?
I
About
can't wait
Infinity
for
War?
Marvel Rivals 2.
Awesome. Well,
We did
you
talk
did.
about
talked about
Fortnite. We're
Fortnite
talking
when you were
about
gone,
Thanos
Ethan.
went to Fortnite for a little bit. Whenever they keep going in this movie and they're like, where'd
Yeah.
he go?
We talked about
They're like, where'd he go?
the
He went to
first
Fortnite.
ever,
That's what he's doing. And then he comes back and he does this.
the first ever Fortnite collab was when
Thanos
this
was all
movie came
hitting
out. It was when Thanos
The
was in
boogie
Fortnite.
dances and stuff.
mm-hmm.
It's true. I was there.
The boogie, yeah, because there
Yeah,
wasn't
he
there
was
was
in
no,
the
there was
Battle
any
Pass
collab
one,
dances
man.
back then. They're all
It was
Fortnite
legendary.
dances.
So for sure, this episode
The Orange
is episode
Justice.
28. If you're watching or listening, and you like the Sacred Rewatch, and you cannot wait for the next episode to come out, be sure to tune in for possibly 28.1 or 28.2, where we are going to be ranking all of the MCU movies that we have seen so far. From the three of us, that will be the whole main premise of the episode. And then we may have one more episode talking about another random topic relating to Infinity War, where we're at in the MCU, and maybe more conversations about cheeseburgers and how they relate to the MCU. Who knows?
There is
knows?
actually a legendary cheeseburger line coming up in the next movie.
Well, you're right. You're right.
Maybe it all comes together and it all makes sense.
It does. Speaking of the
because
next
it's
movie,
off.
after you watch after you
It's a legendary cheeseburger line.
so
A little Favreau for you.
I'm blanking.
after you
Marvel
watch
pension's
the
it's
maybe
getting low.
one bonus episode, maybe 2 bonus episodes, the
Oh,
next episode, leading us into the year 2026, the same
the
year we were
cheeseburger
watching
line.
Avengers Doomsday. We're going to be
Hopefully.
watching
drop a
Avengers
delay.
Endgame and episode number 29. So make sure to tune in for that. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Sacred Rewatch. We hope you enjoyed diving all over the timeline with us. Catch us next week where we are talking about cheeseburgers, the MC rankings, and Avengers Endgame, and many other things. I'm sure, I don't know what Brody's doing his monologue right now, but new recap episodes are coming out every week leading up to Avengers Doomsday, wherever you are in the multiverse. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in this far to the Sacred Rewatch. We've made it a long way, and we're very excited for you to join us on the rest of this journey. For all time, always. See you guys.